Guy interrupts me whenever I spoke, so I do the same to him, by user _I 1999. Pretty self-explanatory. I, 22F, work at a kiosk in the mall and A, 20M, works at the kiosk right beside ours. I disliked him from the first month I started working there because it was pretty self-explanatory. He's a douchey guy and says a lot of misogynistic things. I usually ignore and don't partake in the conversation, but when it's a joint conversation with my co-workers, who are all men, and I'm talking, if he gets bored or doesn't want to wait till I'm done, he'll face the other guy and stop me halfway so he can talk about whatever he wants. The other guys don't pick up on it or are used to doing this as well, so I completely stopped engaging if he's around. Recently a new girl started working and he tried to do the same to her and she picked up on it. The very first time itself he tried to interject 4 times. He actively tried to stop her from talking 4 times and she would not budge, continued talking to me and our other co-worker. At that point I just decided fuck him. So now on, whenever he struts over to our kiosk to talk and he tries to talk to anyone, I interrupt him midway and start a new conversation or pull my co-worker into doing a task. Every time without fail. It's enough to keep me content at work. We also don't let him get a word in when it's just the girl and me, and I full on ignore him if it's just me at the kiosk. Many win. City tries to fine me for not mowing my lawn. So I threaten the city with a fine for not mowing theirs, by user Y_T. The city would send me letters telling me my lawn was too tall and that if I don't mow it they'll send out a contractor to mow it at a price of something like $50/SQFT. So I stopped mowing their lawn. My property ended 15 feet before the curb. Not a 15 easement, it ended there. My easement was 10 back from that, meaning 25 from the curb. Then after it got too high, I copy-pasted their letter to me and certified mailed it back to the city. They also sent me a letter saying I needed to mow it at about the same time. I looked up my plat in the county records and referenced it back to them. Took pictures with a tape measure and reiterated that if they don't take action soon I'm going to hire a contractor to mow it and charge them the same absurd rate they were going to charge me. About a week later I come home from work and it's been mowed. No bill, just mowed. So I continued not mowing that 15x50 strip of grass for the next 5 or so years I lived there. I had even hired a kid to mow for me as I'd gotten too busy and very specifically told him not to mow that strip. I refused to make a fire in the fireplace even though I can, by user Coffee and Cats 2000. My husband cannot make a fire in the fireplace. He has tried and every time they go out within 30 minutes. It is low-key hilarious. I can make a fire. I grew up in New England, long miserable cold winters. I know how to make a damn fire. However, when I advised him he shushed me. My dear husband. The man I love shushed me. So now I refuse to make a fire. I literally just watch this man make a fire and remake a fire all damn day, for the past 4 days, and you know what? I am going to continue and let him struggle as I sip my tea and keep my mouth shut. Eventually I will make a fire, but I'm going to wait until he is so frustrated his cursing in his mother tongue. He's not quite there yet. Edit, can't believe this has blown up. Thank you for the awards and enjoying my pettiness. For this who asks, this is how I make fire in a fireplace. It's pretty much foolproof. My husband can't squash his inner child, so when he makes a fireplace fire they burn hot and fast with big flames and die quickly. BC he has no airflow. Greek, his first language is Greek. Roommate is disgusting, so I put her toothbrush in a sh*t filled toilet, by useratatu ismidad. I, 24F, live in a 2-bedroom with my roommate, 26F, in a large city. We just moved in with each other 3 weeks ago and it's been a disaster. We share a bathroom. She refuses to clean and she's just generally gross. Every morning, she eats breakfast in the bathroom while she's on the toilet. Her breakfast is usually toast, so the crumbs get everywhere, on the floor, on the sink and even on the toilet. This has attracted roaches and we even found a dead mouse in the toilet last weekend. I've found that she also has a hard time remembering to flush the toilet when she's done, so I often am greeted with a toilet full of pee, shit, and even period blood one time. She also leaves 394-5827 different makeup and skincare products on the small sink, so the only thing I can leave on there is my toothbrush. Every time she leaves the bathroom, my toothbrush somehow ends up on the dirty ass floor. I've had pieces of her hair stuck to it, crumbs from her breakfast, etc. After the approximately 10 times my toothbrush was pushed to the floor, I decided to just keep it in my room. I have asked her nicely to please try to not knock down my toothbrush, but she always lies and says it wasn't her. I also talked to her about the eating in the bathroom and not flushing, but nothing got through to her. A few days ago, I forgot to bring my toothbrush back to my room after I used it that night and once again found it on the floor. She had also left a lovely surprise in the toilet for me. Yes, it was full of shit. I had had enough, so I put her toothbrush in the shit-filled toilet and left for work. She gets back from work before me, so she sent me several angry texts about her toothbrush in the toilet. I told her I didn't know what she was talking about. Let's all drive down the middle of the road, by user Grant Good. I pick up / drop off my kids at school every day. Their school is on this little residential street. While little, there is enough room for parked cars on one side, and still room for 2 vehicles in opposite directions to go by each other. If the drivers are competent. The street is a dead-end street too, and there's a roundabout at the end to turn around. All the parents pick up / drop off, drive to the end, turn around, and go wherever. There's this one swipe parent who drives a vehicle bigger than she can handle. Whenever I see her, she's always driving right down the center of the street. A few times we were going in opposite directions and I had to almost drive onto the sidewalk to avoid a head-on collision. Honking does nothing. I don't know if she's just that self-centered or a lousy driver, or both. But I've had it. Yesterday she did it again. And instead of getting out of her way, I also went right down the middle of the street. She stopped her car, and gestured me to go around her. I stopped too, and gestured her to go around me. She couldn't believe the audacity. How dare somebody take up the whole road and tell her to go around? She rolled down her window and yelled, "What the F are you doing?" I yelled back, "The exact same thing you are doing." She huffed and puffed and gestured how ridiculous I was being. I gestured the exact same way back to her. She had to almost drive onto the sidewalk to go around me.